here. He's going to read a letter, and Justin Brash, who's going to read a letter, and other community leaders. We're going to start with our program. We're going to ask Dr. Parwa to begin the play of Dr. King's message, which talks about
Frank,
the young girl.
I just need a few seconds, please, if you don't mind, to just set
Sure,
up the, it will
sure.
be live streamed on Facebook, so I just need a second to set that up.
All right. I hope everyone had a nice day. We had a little bit of snow, which is nice. A little bit of snow is nice. You don't have to do too much shoveling, but glad to see your faces and your parents. And thank you for writing those letters and for expressing your thoughts and feelings about Dr. King. And we're waiting on Dr. Power to get us started. And then we'll kick this thing off. I hope everyone had a happy day in school today or at home today. And you finished your homework assignments? Yes, 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 yes. But we're still waiting.
Okay, all right.
It seems like we're having a little bit of a hiccup.
A little bit of a hiccup, not much. Here we go. Okay.
They allowed me to read some of the mail that came in, and from all over the states and the world, kind letters came in. I read a few, but one of them I will never forget. I had received one from the president and the vice president. I've forgotten what those telegrams said. I'd received a visit and a letter from the governor of New York, but I've forgotten what that letter said. But there was another letter that came from a little girl, a young girl, who was a student at the White Plains High School. And I looked at that letter, and I'll never forget it. It said simply, "Dear Dr. King, I am a 9th grade student at the White Plains High School." She said, "While it should not matter, I would like to mention that I'm a white girl. I read in the paper of your misfortune and of your suffering. And I read that if you had sneezed, you would have died. I'm simply writing you to say that I'm so happy that you didn't sneeze." I want to say tonight, that I too am happy that I didn't sneeze, because if I had sneezed, I wouldn't have been around here in 1960 when students all over the South started sitting in at lunch counters. And I knew that as they were sitting in, they were really standing up for the best in the American dream, taking the whole nation back to those great wells of democracy, which were dug deep by the founding fathers in the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. If I had sneezed, I wouldn't have been around here in 1961 when we decided to take a ride for freedom and ended segregation in interstate travel. If I had sneezed, I wouldn't have been around here in 1962. The Negroes in Albany, Georgia, decided to straighten their backs up. And whenever men and women straighten their backs up, they are going somewhere, because a man can't ride your back unless it is bent. If I had sneezed,
All right, we're gonna stop it. We're gonna stop it there.
63.
Okay,
Thank you. That Dr. King responded to a letter thinking that a young lady from White Plains High School had written to him in 1958. And so this evening's meeting, gathering, is an effort to have our young people write to Dr. King, to share their thoughts and feelings, their reflections about the meaning of Dr. King's efforts in terms of improving the quality of life for everyone across the whole world. So we're going to begin now with a message from Mayor Roach and then Dr. Ricca, and we'll go in that order.
okay.
Activists that wanted to preach for the rights of people of color and all. We wanted a society where we could coexist as one without violence or hate.
I'm gonna start that again. I'm sorry.
This letter is from Miriam Joseph. Dear Dr. King, ever since I was a little kid, I've admired your achievements and your passion for equality. You're a figure for me and so many more people. I want to thank you for being the reason why violence is never the answer when fighting for something I want. You were a civil rights activist that wanted to preach for the rights of people of color and all. You wanted a society where we could coexist as one without violence or hate. Your legacy had a lot of impact on us all, and even if things aren't going to change very soon, we're going to have to make sure of it. We live in a society where even if there's no segregation anymore, racism still exists. And even when it's not at its peak like it was years ago, we're still at a level where we have to advocate for the rights of people of color. It has been years, and we're going to continue to advocate for the rights of people of color. That is because you started this with Open Your Eyes for Racial Freedom. We're confident to have a country where we didn't hate each other because of the color of our skin. You pledged for racial freedom and equality without violence, and we, the ones who want equality for all, will continue your respectful legacy. Thank you.
All right, we thank Mayor Roach for taking time from his schedule to share a letter from Miriam Joseph. Ms. Joseph is a student here in the school district. She is, I believe she's a junior, and we thank the mayor for reading her letter. And now we will have Dr. Ricca, who will also read a letter from a student from White Plains High School.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Good evening, everybody. Good evening to all of my friends from the Youth Bureau, Councilman Brash, the grandpas I see are with us. Harry Bright, I haven't seen you. I miss you, my friend Reverend. And
Yes.
most of all, my Tigers. Oh,
That's right. Go Pirates too.
Go Pirates too. I have to tell you, I am so humbled to be here participating this evening. Number one, because to think about the man that Dr. Martin Luther King was and is to us, was and is still to this day to us. It is so amazing to be able to celebrate the legacy that still burns bright in White Plains. And man, I tell you, if you don't get chills recognizing that that letter was written by a White Plains High School Tiger to Dr. King in 1956, I don't know what excites you, but I'll tell you, I have a letter here from Maya McKenzie, who's one of my Tigers at the high school, and it's just amazing. Sit back and enjoy. Dear Dr. Martin Luther King, I'd like to take the time to thank you for all the sacrifices you have made to make our future a better one. There were so many times where you could have given up, you could have stopped, but you decided not to. You took the risk of being arrested, injured, and even killed, but you were able to find motivation that was even greater than the things you could have been worried about. Your motivation empowered people to fight for better as well. People came together and marched for equality. Although we don't have the peace that you imagined we might have, you still paved the way for great change. Legal segregation is no longer allowed. Workers are entitled to fair wages, and voting restrictions have been lessened. None of these things could have happened without your bravery, your dedication, and your determination to make society better. When you were arrested and thrown in jail, That didn't stop you. You still continued to fight, even when you were behind bars. You didn't let anything people said or did affect you. There were so many setbacks and barriers that people put up so that you could fail. But you found a way around them, through them, and you never gave up. This gave people hope and enlightenment. Today, your legacy still gives people hope and enlightenment. What you've done motivates people to work hard and fight for equality and change. I appreciate and thank you for your optimistic vision and your dream that you shared with us that will hopefully one day come true. Thank you, Maya McKenzie, White Plains High School.
Thank you. A wonderful letter coming from Maya. Thank you, Dr. Ricker.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Maya.
We now have Honorable Councilman Justin Brash, and he has a long letter, but Justin, read a portion of it because I know it's very lengthy. Here now, our Youth Board Chair and Common Council Member, Justin Brash.
It's my pleasure to be here with all of you tonight. I am quite excited to be here celebrating Dr. King and his dream and his vision. And I'm the luckiest guy on the planet because I'm the chairman of the Youth Bureau and I'm a city councilman. And I get to work all day and all night for the youth in our city with amazing people like Dr. Ricka and Reverend Trollinger and Frank Williams and Bovna and Captain Spencer and the great grandpas led by Dr. Jim Eisenberg. And I'm thrilled to be here tonight. And I want to say that Dr. King would view the Youth Bureau as the manifestation of his dream. We have every kind of youth and child in our city working together. Black and brown and white and Jewish and Christian and Muslim and gay and straight, LGBT, the whole LGBTQ. We have every kind of person together, and in our beautiful city, every single person is welcome to be part of our dream, which is inspired, of course, much in the realm and the vision of Dr. King. I will now have the honor of reading a letter from Priya Kumar. It's a little bit long, so I'll read it quickly so that you can keep your program moving. So thank you to everyone for joining us for this inspiring evening where we will continue, all of us, to work day and night to make a world in the vision of Dr. King, where we are all treated and judged by the content of our character and who we are, not based on any other thing. Dear Dr. King, in 1963, over half a century ago, you gave a speech and commenced a notion that would alter this country forever. You defied the law of the country and stood for something that you believed was right. You created an impact so big that would mold future generations. It needed strength, courage, and patience. However, most importantly, compassion is what you make a decision to change the USA for the better. You have been a real inspiration to many. You fought for injustice peacefully, something many to this day do not do. Those who accompanied you and stood with you saw you as a trusted leader. Your movement was not about one person over the other. It was for all people, all ethnicities, and for all equally around. I wish you could see this country now and the development we keep making, influencers, vice presidents, governors, and so on. There is a representation of every ethnicity. The fact is that while the civil rights movement in our minds appears so long ago, it really wasn't. My generation's grandparents grew up during that time. Some of my parents were even born into it. The harsh truth is this was the way of the world, was not that long ago, separated by the color of whether you were black, brown, or white. I myself have experienced a bit of racism here, and however I acknowledge the fact that where we are now is not where we were and not where we will be forever. Some may also say this country continues to be divided, an example of racism, and maybe in our selfish human nature, there will always be a sense of it. However, the progress we have made is amazing. In complete transparency, there are still many problems that need solving. Certain issues are nevertheless unjust. However, the country continues to be evolving and getting closer to solving these issues. I am not disregarding or invalidating any experiences, anyone's opinion, or being naive to the troubles presently happening. I am simply here to mention that I am sorry for the problems still occurring and that there is a brighter future that awaits. There will always be people who turn a blind eye to the issues regarding racism that a country faces, but there are always people who see things for what they are, will do their best to change them. whether that's through nonviolent social moves or simply displaying love and compassion to one another. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., I want you to see how your dream manifested. There is a lot of love and laughs shared among many races. Your vision of a country where there was no separation has emerged into something beautiful. It was for you and every other civil rights activist to change the trajectory of our nation. As humans, we will always work and progress, but it is for your precedent and your dream that we will continue to try in how we love and treat each other. As you once said, our lives begin and end the day when we become silent about things that matter. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., thanks for the tone you place in our country. We hope and continue to strive towards a country that loves and supports all people, regardless of their differences. Thank you for all you've done. Sincerely, Priya Kumar. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. Wonderful letter. Another great letter also. Thank you for reading all of it. And
Thank
now
you.
we will go with Councilman Nadine Hunt Robinson.
Oops.
Good evening. I'm Nadine Hunt Robinson, Council President for the City of White Plains, and I'm honored to be a part of tonight's program. I'd like to first thank Frank Williams and the White Plains Youth Bureau for allowing me to participate via video due to a conflicting event. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is an American hero. He fought for equality and access for all. Indeed, he sacrificed his life for it. So it pleases me that the youth have written letters in honor of him, and I will now read one of those letters from Alana Burroughs. Dear Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., I personally wanted to thank you for the work you have done to establish equality, peace, and justice in our society. Your work inspires us youth to fight for what we believe in and to continue the work that you have done. Currently, it feels as if history is unfortunately repeating itself. People are being treated cruelly for their race, sexual orientation, political beliefs, and religion. These actions are driving our society apart and discouraging others from pursuing their dreams and happiness. Actions need to be taken to restore the peace and demolish discrimination of any kind. As we think of ways to positively change our society, we must remember your methods. Violence is not the answer and will only make it worse. Our society has implemented peaceful protests and petitions to raise awareness for the injustices being done. At times, people respond to them with hatred and violence, but we must remember what we are fighting for. We are fighting for equality, peace, and justice. It won't be easy, but our efforts will pay off in the end. Your work has inspired me to not only advocate for myself, but also for others. Through the White Plains Community Youth Court, I advocate for my peers so they may not enter the criminal justice system. This program is giving the youth a second chance to become a productive member of society and have the ability to work towards accomplishing equality, peace, and justice in our society again. Thank you again for the work you have done. You will forever inspire me. Sincerely, Alana Burroughs. Alana, that was a beautiful letter. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Nadine Hunt Robinson. We're going to get to our young people just in a few. We have now reading a letter, Reverend Erwin Trollinger, pastor of Calvary Baptist Church. He's reading. Pastor Trollinger, that's not Pastor Trollinger. He's reading, Bhavna.
Oh, okay, sorry.
He's reading. That's
Yeah,
Reverend Williams.
1 second, 1 second. Yep. I'm just trying to find him so that I can spotlight him. There we go. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. I'm glad to be here with you on tonight. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King was a hero of mine. I even went to school in Atlanta, Georgia, just to be around that created who he was. And so I'm here to read Quentin Swan Scott's letter. It says, a letter to Dr. Martin Luther King. The stories that I've been told could never amount to wish that I had met a man who resembled strength, honor, and the ability to love without constraint. Dr. King, I wish I could have had the opportunity to hear the mere essence of your words as they were being imparted from you. Growing up and learning about the great warrior you were for your people and for all individuals alike doesn't do justice to the magnitude of your greatness. What did it mean to have balance, the scales of love and mankind, to assimilate into the minds of people who did not think about creating unity so we can all work together and become a uniform democracy? You stood for peace, unity, and respected all mankind, where all races could join one another in harmony. I Have a Dream speech continues to reign in the minds and the hearts of people from all races and ages, hoping to emulate the desire of your heart. Who am I? This is what I hope men would say to their sons when they're trying to signify the reason for teaching them about the journey that it took them to understand your message. We want the freedom to live, laugh, love, and not ending up in death and continuous abuse, or by breaking the chains of mental slavery ourselves, where the color of a man, a woman, or a child does not continue to shame our ancestors because of our ignorance by devouring families and communities and us. We need to continue to fight towards where it leads to paying homage to a man they called Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., allowing his death to remind of a victorious honor. Today, I look to many who have come before me, sacrificing their lives for me to write this letter. We have been honored to have a Black president and now a Black woman as vice president at the extend handed of Martin Luther King. He and many others paved the way for us to have a voice where it reigns and speaks beyond. Eventually, I too will become an ancestor, telling a story from the grave, knowing that this man, MLK, was the catalyst to being a part of an army of people fighting for an equity and freedom and humankind alike. Sincerely, Quentin Sean Scott.
Thank you, Reverend Trollinger, and thanks, Brother Scott, for that wonderful, wonderful letter. And now we'll hear from our young people. The first reader, youth, her name is Allison. She's 7 years old. Allison, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, wait, we're trying to find you. Um, we will find you and looking forward to hearing what you've written.
I'm here.
There we go. All right, Allison, go ahead.
Dear Dr. Luther King, hi, I'm Allison. I am 7 years old. I like to dance, listen to music, and do art. We have the same birthday month. I'm thankful for you because you helped stop segregation. You demonstrated that we can peacefully protest for people's rights. Thank you, Allison.
Thank you, Allison. Thank you so very much for writing that. And you read it so wonderfully. Thank you so much. And now we're going to go to
Thank
Amin
you.
Anod. Amin Anod, A-N-U-D. Are you there, Amin? Amin, you're not there? Then we're going to go to our next reader, Chris.
Thank you, Martin Luther King, to make us happy.
All right. All right. Thank you for writing that. Yes. Thank you for all that you have done to make us happy. Is Chris there? Okay.
Here.
Go ahead, Chris.
Dear Martin Luther King Jr., thank you for making this world a better place to live. You fought for our civil rights. I have Black friends in school and I can sit next to them and I can also play with them. I do not have to separate from them. Thank you and happy birthday.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. And we're going to ask everyone to please mute until we call you. Thank you for reading that, Chris. And thank your family for helping you to put those words to paper. Mateo, are you there? Mateo, M-A-T-E-O?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Mateo.
Dear Dr. King, thank you for changing the law and people can go to the same school and we have the same initials, Mateo.
Thank you. Thank you again. And you look great, Mateo. You look like you got it going on. Thank you. We're going to go to Kyla Brooks. Ms. Brooks, are you there? Kyla Brooks. Ms. Brooks is not there.
How do you spell her
No.
name, Frank? With a
I'm
K?
sorry. I'm
With a
sorry.
K? How do you spell her name?
K-Y-L-A-H. Brooks.
No, she's not here.
Kendall Brown. Is Ms. Brown here?
Yes.
All right, Kendall, there we are. Go ahead.
I'm so grateful for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Speak a little louder.
I'm so grateful for what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. did for us. Though Black people were treated like they had no rights, he believed that they did. Dr. King was born on January 15, 1929 in Atlanta, Georgia. He was assassinated April 4th, 1968. During his lifetime, he would fight for what was right. When he was a little boy, he would focus on his studies. He will always get good grades. You should take his words and make it happen. At the age of 15, Dr. King entered college. He received his doctorate in theology. He attended philosophy classes at Harvard University as an adult student in 1952 and 1953. At the age of 25 in 1954, Dr. King was called as a pastor of Dexter Avenue Baptist Church in Montgomery, Alabama. My favorite part of his famous speech, I Have a Dream speech is, I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day even the state of Mississippi, a state a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my four little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. Thank you, Dr. King, for your dream.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. We appreciate that. Is Eli here? Do we have Eli?
Yes.
All right, Eli. Fire it up.
Dear Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., I am thankful for what you have done for people. You helped people do good things. I thank you for equal rights. Thank you for making us all be together, white people and Black people to be together. You helped us to be in school together. Thank you for giving us freedom. You were the best man alive to help people be together. Thank you, Eva.
Well, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much, Eli. And now we go to, I believe it's Brielle or Braille, Brielle. Are you there?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Dear Dr. Martin Luther King, I thank you for standing up for our civil rights. I thank you for helping us to be united. I thank you for helping us to go to the same school. Thank you, Brielle.
Thank you so much. You did great. All right, we go now to Zoe Brooks. Is Miss Brooks here? Miss Brooks?
No, what's her first name, Frank?
Z-O-E-Y, Zoe. If not, we'll
I
go
don't
to,
think she's here. There's a Zoe Zager, but I don't
No.
see Zoe Brooks. No.
we're gonna go to Carlson Leslie. That's Kharslon, Leslie.
No.
All right, Corey Drysdale. Corey Drysdale.
No.
Okay,
I don't-
Zoe Zager.
Yep.
Ms.
I do see
Zager.
Zoe. Zoe's here. Mhm.
Okay, Zoe.
The time is always right.
Can you speak a little louder, Zoe?
The time is always right to do what is right. Dear Dr. King, thank you for teaching the world to fight violence with love. You can't fight violence with violence. That will only make things worse. The only way to make things better is to fight violence with love and peace. Thank you for having a dream. The part of your I have a dream speech that speaks it the most to me is when you talked about how it's important to judge people by the content of their character and not their outside. Judging people by the content of their character means respecting people for who they are on the inside, which means looking for people who have character traits like kindness, loyalty, honesty, laughter, and generosity. If you didn't have your dream, then today I wouldn't be able to make friends with different people. Thank you for everything you have done to make the world peaceful. You have made a big mark in history, and that goes to show that anybody can make a difference. The world has learned so much from you. With respect, Zoe Zager, 8 years old, 3rd grade, from Marinette Avenue School, Miss Carolina's class.
Thank you. You did a great job. We appreciate that. And thank you so very much for taking the time to pen that letter. And now we're going to another portion of our adult readers, and we'll come back to our youth shortly. A letter read by Reverend Dr. Edward O. Williamson.
Okay. Give me 1 second, Frank. There we go.
Good evening to Mr. Frank Williams, Youth Bureau supporters and community and friends. It's a privilege and an honor for me to be a part of this celebration of youth on this evening. Voices of our youth, letters to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I am Dr. Edward O. Williamson, pastor of the Bethel Baptist Church located in White Plains, New York. And it's my privilege to share with you a letter from Michael. Michael is a student from Croton-on-the-Hudson High School. And he writes, "Dear Dr. King, I would like to thank you for all the amazing work you have done for the civil rights movement in this country. All the things you did and the sacrifices you made have truly inspired many people, and I am one of them. Although some people have mistreated you and not appreciated your work, and for that, I'm truly sorry. You took risks for the betterment of society, and for that, I am humbly grateful. The movement you started still continues today through the Black Lives Matter movement. People will continue to speak out on injustices and inequality because of you. You paved the way for movements like this one and those of your time. One of your most inspiring accomplishments I can remember is when you led the Montgomery bus boycott after Rosa Parks was arrested, causing many people to stop using the buses. What an inspiration that was. You are an inspiration to me and all others around the world. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Sincerely, Michael, student from Croton-on-the-Hudson High School." God bless you, Michael, and thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. And thank you for being one of the outstanding youth in our community.
Thank you. Thank you. That letter was read by Reverend Dr. Edward O. Williamson, and the writer was Michael Henry. We will go now to Honorable Harry Bright, who will read a letter. Mr. Bright.
Okay, I think I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Hey, Harry.
How are you? You're doing a wonderful job. I've enjoyed listening to the young people and to my adults who have also participated in this program. And I just want to say to the young people, you're living in a great community. And as you grow, think about the power and the knowledge that you gained, and you share that with future young people. And we'll keep White Plains alive, well, and caring for everyone. Let me share the letter from Thomas Carreras that was written to Dr. King. And he said, "My name is Thomas Carreras. I am a student at White Plains High School. I would like to know if you believe there are any similarities between the civil rights movements you were part of and the Black Lives Matter movement that are going on now. I believe there is a great similarity because they both are fighting for Black people to not be racially profiled and for their lives, since many horrific incidents have happened to them before, and they are still happening now. As we see the murder of George Floyd in hands of the cops, even more recently, we see how Mr. Trump supporters have stormed the Capitol with very little consequences, and even the president supported these horrible actions. Yet, when people go out and march for the lives of Black people, they get beat and killed. I would like to know what you would do in these moments. And also, we thank you for the great things that you have done for the civil rights movements. Even though you were arrested and beaten, you never gave up. And it shows courage, which we could use now in these troubled days. And you are a great leader. Thank you, sincerely, Thomas Carreras.
Thank you, Brother Harry Bright. Thank you for reading it, and you be well and be safe now.
Thank you.
The next letter will be read by Dr. Natasha Freeman Mack from White Plains High School.
All right, I am unmuted. All right.
There we go.
Yep. Wow, I am just overjoyed to hear from all of these students, all of these young minds. Before I read my letter, I would love to just read one of my favorite quotes from Dr. King. The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. And tonight, as I'm listening to all these incredible students read, definitely the true goal of education. I am reading tonight for a student. Her name is Ada Wari. Dear Dr. King, thank you. Though this is not enough to commend all the changes you have brought to this nation and the world, truly, it is not enough compared to all the people whom you have and continue to inspire, one of them being me. Wherever you are today, I know you will be saddened by what has been going on in our nation. Though I have never met you, I still feel a strong connection with you. I do not know why. It could be because my birthday is on August 28th, the same day you talked about your dream that still needs to be fulfilled. I believe in myself and in the rest of our generation to change this terrible situation. It is our assignment. It is our duty. We have to be there to make sure similar events do not occur in the next generation. We have to keep the dream. You have left us a path that our generation must follow. RFK said, "We will have difficult times. We've had difficult times in the past. We will have difficult times in the future. However, we can try to change these difficult situations by using the guidelines you left us with. We must look at the positive sides of humanity and always remain peaceful. I aspire to have the wisdom you had, Dr. King. I aspire to be able to fight against all the injustices we are facing. And we can look back at all the things you have done to help us continue this fight. We must change our perspective and see the beauty that is hidden in us all. We must realize that we are equal. Together we stand. Once again, thank you. Sincerely, Ida Wari, White Plains Youth."
Thank you so much, Dr. Mack. And thank you for being a part of this celebration of youth voices. Thank you. We're going to go back to our young people right now. And our next youngster is Retney Perez. Do we have Mr. Perez here? If not, we'll go to Rafael Barranco. Is Rafael here?
No.
Okay, then we will go to Mikhail Borinko. Mikhail? Okay, we'll keep going. Valerie G. Valerie G. Okay, Aspen Jackson. Is Miss Jackson here?
Aspen, is that her name?
Yes, ASPEN.
No, she's not here either.
Chris Tinoco. That's TINOCO.
No, I don't see him.
All right. Uriel Aguilar. It's AGUILAR.
No.
Okay. Kyra Lutch, LICHTI.
Is it with a K?
LICHTI.
Sir,
Okay, go ahead.
to Martin Luther King Jr. by Kira. Dear Martin Luther King Jr., thank you for changing the humanity for the better. My name is Kira Lichty. I am very grateful for you. I am from Ridgeway School. I am 8 years old in 3rd grade. You have a lot of courage, and I am grateful for you. You were very brave. Sometimes I wonder what your childhood was like. I have never experienced racism. I was born on May 31st. In a few days, we are celebrating your birthday. I wish you were there. My favorite speech that you gave was I Have a Dream. If you didn't fight for racial equality, I wouldn't be able to go to school with Paige. She is one of my best friends. She is in the same class as me. I believe in peace just like you. Thank you for changing the world. From Kira Lichty.
Thank you. Great job. Thank you so very much. We'll go now to Tammy Enriquez. That's Tammy Enriquez.
Here.
Tia, all right, go ahead.
Dear Martin Luther King Jr., my name is Tammy Enriquez. I'm 8 years old, and I have 2 pets, a cat and a dog. I have black hair. I'm Mexican American. I love you. If you did not fight for the right of black people, I would never have met Olivia and Sanaya. You change the world so white people and black people can be friends. I want you to know that your kids will always remember you were the best dad. I love your speech, and I love the demonstrations that you led. I also love your I Have a Dream speech. You put in a lot of hard work into the speech. Thank you. You are the best leader ever. Thank you for all you have done. Sincerely, Tammy.
Thank you. Great job. And now we're going to Esmeralda Lita, L-I-T-A.
Lita. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Dear Martin Luther King Jr., hi, my name is Esmeralda and I am 9 years old. Thank you for always doing the right thing when it comes to treating people fairly. You demonstrated that we should always be nice to people who aren't the same color. You also taught others to be nice to others and stick together. And even though people treated you bad, that did not stop you from fighting for freedom. You should not judge someone by the color of their skin. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. And now we'll hear from Guadalupe. Do we have? All right, go ahead.
Dear Martin Luther King Jr., first I'm going to introduce myself. Hi, my name is Guadalupe. I am so thankful for what you did. Thank you, Martin Luther King, for stopping segregation. I am so happy that I can go play with my friends even though they're black. Your I Have a Dream speech says that you should never judge before you get to know someone. If I was born at that time, I would join your marches and stood up with you to fight for freedom. I also love that you didn't fight with your hands. Instead, you fought with education words. I am going to say one more thing. I know that your family is very happy for what you did. You were a role model for them as well as the world. We miss you and happy birthday. Love, Guadalupe.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Thank you. And thank you to all of our youth readers. We're going to go back to some of our adult readers. Miss Libby Hollahan is going to read a letter from Tanya Thompson.
Hi, everyone, and thank you very much, Frank Williams and the Youth Bureau, for everything you do to support the youth in our community. And it's so wonderful to hear the youth and the young ones who've really taken Dr. King's message to heart and are working to make the world a better place. So this letter is from Tiana Thompson. Dear Dr. King, because of your courageous act, I now have a dream. I can now dream of going to the moon, Jupiter, or even Mars. Wow, how rude of me. I did not even introduce myself. My name is Tiana Thompson, and I am a junior at White Plains High School. My school is tremendously diverse, and that would not be attainable without your help, so thank you. How did you survive during your time? Because I dislike it when people stare at me a little too hard. But then I think to myself, They just probably have never seen a Black walking goddess before. So I let them stare to admire my beauty. During my English class, I read Civil Disobedience by Henry David Thoreau, and I learned that you were inspired by his piece. I mean, who would not be inspired by that essay? After reading it, I want to take action myself in the government's unjust behavior. You chose to take the information that you learned and act upon it. You did not just sit there and say we are being mistreated. You acted upon your thought. Racism is peeking through the cracks of our society, but it was never sealed to begin with. Ever since President Trump was elected, many, if not all his supporters, think it's okay to be disdainful to people because of their complexion. They even dared to raid the Capitol. Before Trump supporters raided the Capitol, one of our brothers died due to an officer kneeling on his neck for 8 minutes. We even lost a sister, Breonna Taylor. An officer killed her in her own apartment. What a shame. I failed to mention that these were only 2 people who died, and many more passed and have yet to receive justice. These issues caused millions of people to act, participating in Black Lives Matter protests worldwide. These protests were often peaceful until police began using rubber bullets and tear gas on nonviolent protesters. On January 6, 2021, thousands of thugs raided the Capitol. Who in their right mind would think that would be okay? It is okay to have a peaceful protest, but to make a decision for it to get violent was unnecessary. One woman even got killed. That death could have been prevented if those thugs had a mindset like you. You chose not to use violence to make a point, but look where we are now. While these thugs were rioting at the Capitol, there were no rubber bullets or tear gas. Officers were even taking pictures with these thugs. I cannot imagine what you are thinking after reading this. You must be disgusted. Let me write about a happier topic. The first ever Black person, not to mention a Black woman, beautiful Black woman, was elected to be Vice President of the United States. Wow, did she dream? And guess what? Her dreams and prayers came true. I need to take a breath after writing that. I know nothing is impossible, but now I have proof that nothing is impossible. Kamala Harris defied odds. 2020 was a crazy year, but I will tell you about that in another letter. I know in my heart that if you were here with us today, you would not let these things happen. We miss you. All best wishes, Tiana Thompson, White Plains High School student. P.S. We are in a pandemic. Who would have imagined?
Thank you, Ms. Hallahan. Thank you, and thank you, Ms. Thompson. Thank you to Tanya Thompson. Thank you for that. We're going to Hillary Blackman, who's also going to read a letter at this time.
Good evening, everyone. I'm reading a letter for Talia Lowe to Dr. King. Dear Dr. King, being a young Black woman in today's society, I feel I have to constantly prove I belong. In my advanced classes, I work twice as hard to prove that I deserve a seat in the classroom. You are the person who fought so hard for Black children and adults to feel like we belong. Especially with what is happening today, we feel like we have been cast in the shadows, like our voices aren't beautiful or important enough for people to want to listen to us, like our nappy hair is beautiful enough to be worshiped, like our melanin is dark for others to love, like our ancestors haven't forgot, like they haven't fought for every tooth and nail that we have, just like you did, Dr. King. Yet we are back to where we once were, where we are expected to stay lurking in the corner. You didn't. You never fumbled. I know that I want to be the voice for this generation and to do the same things you have done. You have paved the way for me to have the courage and bravery to fight the way you have fought for our people. And for that, I thank you. I will make you proud. Sincerely, Talia Lowe.
Thank you, Ms. Blackman, and thank you, Ms. Love, for that wonderful letter. We go now to Dr. Barbara Powell, who will read a letter coming from Ms. Ada Riel.
Okay, thank you Thank you, Frank. It's actually Zaida Polanco, and it reads, Dear Dr. King, no words can describe my gratitude for how much you've impacted the world we live in today. In school, I look around to see I'm surrounded by an array of diverse skin colors of human beings. You have changed the social structure of this nation for the better, and without you, I have no idea where we'd be today. You never stop persisting through the hatred, the racism, and the violence. And for this, I will always be in awe. You started a movement that unfortunately still has to continue today in today's Black Lives Matter movement. How is it that human beings still have to fight for their lives to be recognized as equal to anyone else? How is it that people with such incredible hatred for someone with a darker skin tone than them can suffocate them to death and still get away with it? Though your fight for equality for all races has not stopped, it has only grown exponentially, and it keeps flourishing until soon we will no longer have to protest in the streets for our basic human rights, no longer have to explain why our lives still matter. Thanks to you, I, as a person of color, have a voice in this world, and I will use it to help others find theirs, just as you did. Thank you, Dr. King, for planting the seed of hope. Sincerely, your humble admirer, Zaida Polanco.
Thank you, Dr. Power. And thank you, Ms. Polanco. Wonderfully written. Ms. Helena Mascott is going to read a letter at this time.
I write to you from the 21st century to thank you and wish you a speedy recovery. Your wise words are heard all over the world and have served as an inspiration for change. Although equality is still being sought, we may soon see changes. The youth has been inspired by your words and are demanding change. Your I Have a Dream speech has taught us to stand up for what we believe in. This is specifically inspired the youth to beautifully and peacefully protest Black Lives Matter. During the summer of 2020, the Black Lives Matter protest was able to spread all over the nation and even all over the world. This movement that started in 2013 was finally able to be heard and gain support. The movement started with you as an inspiration. Your speeches and actions will continue to inspire youth for years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Helena, and thank you so very much for that wonderful, wonderful letter. At this time, we'll have Captain James Spencer, who will now come and read a letter.
Thank you, Frank, and thank you to all the letter writers and readers. Tonight, I'm privileged to read the words of White Plains young person, Anthony Mejia. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was born on January 15, 1929. He was a Baptist minister and social activist who led the civil rights movement. He was one of the colored people that changed the world. Dr. King was able to help save all colored people. Before we were born, racism had been a thing for a long time. Dr. King was able to give them rights. Black people were treated bad because of their color. They all thought that they were dangerous and white people treated them badly. Dr. King was able to help others by inspiring them to stand up for themselves. He helped them by organizing peaceful protests, boycotting, and speaking about the ways they've been treated. He was an amazing person. He made a speech, I Have a Dream, and he inspired others to help him in his journey to help Blacks. He changed the law. There are many people that are known for doing good or bad things. Dr. King was one of the good people. He was known as MLK Jr. He was known after he became the leader and spokesperson of the civil rights movement in the 1950s and 1960s. Even though there's still racism going on, We have been motivated to speak up when we feel like we're being judged by our color. Dr. King was a noble and caring man who dedicated his whole life for his people. Anthony Mejia.
Thank you. Thank you, Captain Spencer, and thank you, Anthony. This last section is done by all young people, and we start with Edwin Major. Is Edwin here?
I don't see him.
Stephanie Hidalgo? Stephanie?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Steph.
Okay. Dear Martin Luther King Jr., thank you for stopping segregation. Thank you for making speeches and marches. You made the world a better place. If you weren't here, the world wouldn't have changed. Everyone loves you. From Stephanie.
Okay, thank you, Stephanie. Sandra Lopez, is Sandra here?
Here.
All right, Sandra.
To Martin Luther King, I have a dream. My dream is people be happy and celebrate together in joy. I'm so happy because you help us be together. I wish to see you and hug you because I love people, but I wish to see you. And I'm happy for you because you did everything for us, and I'll do everything to keep the world and people love. I really hope you're alive with me, and you together we will be happy in the world.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so very much. Good job. Jeffrey Dominguez, is Jeffrey here? Do we have Jeffrey Dominguez here?
No.
Anaya Polono? Anaya? A-N-A-H-I?
No.
Cecilia Romero?
What's her name, Frank?
Cecilia, C-E-C-I-L-I-A.
No.
Susan Villamar, that's V-I-L-L-A-M-A-R-E-S.
Susan. No, I don't see a Susan.
Evelyn Lopez?
Ellen?
Evelyn.
Evelyn. No.
Okay. Sarah Durrett? D-A-R-A-T-E.
I'm here.
Okay.
Okay. Dear Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., I am Sarai Zarate, a junior at White Plains High School, and I wanted to thank you for all the work you have done. There is still a long way to go, but you started the conversation and led a movement that started in your hometown of Atlanta, Georgia, and spread to the rest of the nation, all the way to the Capitol, where people from all over gathered around the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. to hear your dreams. Perhaps, if you were currently with us, we could have seen more change occur. The youth is doing their best to keep your dream and the conversation alive. The summer of 2020 is the biggest example of this. Over the past years, we have seen many social injustices occur. Over the summer, we were fed up. Many protested around the streets, rendering tribute to those lost due to a system built by oppressors. In your words, lightning makes no sound until it strikes. We were loud, the loudest we have been. The youth sparked conversations around a topic that has been disputed since the foundation of our country. These conversations took place throughout the United States and around the world. All eyes were upon us, a country that is supposed to treat everyone equal, that still has a deep division fueled by hate. We as a country have seen a transition of power that will hopefully allow for this conversation to be had within the chambers of our government, in order to produce a change that will be forever embedded in our history. We have seen dark days over the past year, and in your great words, only in darkness can you see the stars. The youth will be the light guiding the future of our country to the stars. Sincerely, a keeper of the dream. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well done. And now we will go to Omar McKenzie. Omar?
Frank, before we go to Omar, Susan Villaneres is here now.
Okay, let's go to her. Okay.
To go with her.
She just left.
She just left? Okay.
Yeah, she just left.
Okay, all right.
Okay, Omar McKenzie.
Dear Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., thank you for all you have done for this community. I appreciate your commitment to the civil rights movement. You have done so much for the African American community as well as other races. You made important and lasting contributions to this society and to the world as we continue to fight for justice and equality. Thank you for all the sacrifices you have made during your struggle to help others. You paid the ultimate price with your life. You will always be an important African American. Martin Luther King Jr., you are a true American hero. You inspire me to support my family and community, and I will continue to do my own work in my community in my own way. Thank you sincerely, Omar McKenzie.
Thank you, Omar. Thank you. Well done. And now we'll go to Jayden Person. Is Miss Person here? Jayden. That's Jadyn.
Here.
Okay.
Thank you for being here when many others weren't. Thank you for being the light in the sea of darkness. Thank you for giving me an opportunity. Thank you for giving us a purpose. Thank you for helping people see right from wrong. Thank you for giving me a chance at a better life. Thank you for making the U.S. a more united place. I say this for us all when I say thank you, because without your help, I don't know where we would be right now. For this, your name will be forever known, and your legacy will continue to shine. Thank you, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Jayden. And now we go to Pedro Villa. Is Pedro there?
I'm here.
Okay.
Dear King, first a big thank you. My name is Pedro Villa, and I am a junior at White Plains High School. I am a Latino, and your dream in fighting was not only for Black lives, but for racial equality. Not only did you fight for justice, but your I Have a Dream speech ignited a dream in all of us. Some may argue that it was all the marches, which undoubtedly it was, but it was the soft skills you embodied. The power to be a motivator and the use of rhetoric to change the minds of the ignorant truly was inspirational. You've taught me and many others that it is okay to stand up for what you believe in, no matter the cost. If you bring the wins, brace for the whirlwinds. You taught us to be okay with failure, knowing that if we get knocked down, we get up again and keep fighting, and letting our voices be heard. You taught us to be strong, innovative, brave, and overall intelligent. If it was not for you and many other activists, the right to love was not, the right to love was not for you and for many other activists. The right to love other races would be elusive. I and many others cannot thank you enough for the hard work that set a precedent in America today to let us be free. It is not the utopia we all hope to cradle, and it will never be. But just know that your aspiration and dream is still unfolding, King. The warmest regards, Pedro.
Thank you. Thank you, Pedro. And next is Sean Daly. That's D-A-L-E-Y. No?
Frank?
Stephen, yes?
Frank, I just got a message from, I believe, a teacher at one of the schools saying that her two students are here, Jayden Arevalo and Christian Lopez. So if we have room, then perhaps if they are ready to read, then we can have them read.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Jayden Arevalo, are you here?
Yes.
Would you like to read a letter?
Yes.
Okay.
Dear MLK, I'm happy that you used your life for trying to stop segregation. You're not the king. You are not just the king of the world. You are the king of my heart. And we love your I Have a Dream speech, and we love you like a king. From Jayden Arevalo.
Thank you. Thank you much.
And is Christian Lopez here as well? I did see him on the list, so very good, Christian. Go ahead.
Dear Martin Luther King, I wish you wish you
Thank you from Kristen.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Christian. Thank you so very much. And thank you, Jayden. And now we'll go to Stephen Agaro. Stephen? Okay. We'll
Yeah,
go
I'm back. Sorry.
Okay.
Dear Dr. King, thank you for bringing equality to our country. If it wasn't for you, maybe nobody would have stopped segregation from blacks. Also, the world wouldn't be the same today if it wasn't for you, and I wouldn't have had the friends that I have today. I just wanted to say thank you so much for all your hard work that you've done. From Stephen Aguero.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you so very much. And now it's Malik Darius, M-A-L-I-C.
No.
Sophie Charmalat, that's C-H-A-R-L.
I'm here.
Okay. And pronounce your last name, Sophie.
Charlemagne.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Dear Martin Luther King, thank you for giving the world a reason to believe and fight for what they want in life. You not only made it possible for different races and ethnicities to come together and become one, but also made protesting and speaking up about a negative situation our First Amendment. Your vision of equality and civil disobedience changed the world for oppressed people, young and old. Because of you, you help Black people and white people not have to be forced to sit in separate sections on a bus or drink from separate water fountains in a public space just because of the color of our skin. This is why we celebrate you for all your phenomenal achievements to end racial segregations on public transportation and for racial equality in the United States.
Thank you, Sophie. Appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Jacob Torres.
Hello, I'm here.
Go ahead, Jake.
Dear Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., my name is Jacob Torres and I am in 8th grade from Highlands Middle School, and I would like to say that over the years I have learned so much about leaders of the past and present, but the one that was most important and always stood out to me was you. You helped end legal segregation and did it peacefully. As a leader, you would make such powerful speeches that were impactful and made others realize that you were a leader because of your peacefulness and nonviolent protests. You would get violent threats, but still kept going. I thank you for letting Blacks and whites have equal laws, equal seats in buses, equal water fountains, equal restrooms, and so much more. From your leadership, I have learned to always handle things in a peaceful, nonviolent manner, to speak out whenever something is wrong, to protect others from being hurt either physically, mentally, or socially, and to never give up on one's dream, just like how you never gave up on your dream in which you said, I have a dream that one day my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I thank you for inspiring others, and I thank you for risking your life for equality, and I thank you for empowering others when they most needed it.
Thank you. Well done. Thank you. Thank you, Jacob. And now we have Max from Ridgeway School. Is Max there?
Yes.
Okay. Max?
Thank you, Martin Luther King Jr. Thank you for standing up against racism. Thank you for being strong when you told your dream. You are the reason why Black and white are together. You are the one who helped do the right thing, even if it cost your life. Thank you for everything. You changed the world. From Max.
Thank you, Max. Short and sweet. And we have Malaya, it's M-A-L-I-A. Malaya,
Hi, I'm here.
okay.
Dear Dr. Martin Luther King, hi, I'm Malia Davis. I'm 12 years old. I'm a middle schooler from Eastview Middle School. We thank you for being a civil rights activist and fighting for human rights. We thank you for leaving your footprints behind for us to remember such a smart and determined leader. We thank you for bringing down the walls of injustice and finally letting others get their justice they deserve. We thank you for sharing such a wonderful and peaceful dream of yours. It will bring some people to realize that we bleed the same,
And at the end of the day, we're all equal, just a different race.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. Appreciate it. We're going to go to Anthony Espinosa. Anthony Espinosa.
Hi, I'm here.
Okay.
So today, my name is Anthony Espinosa. I'm a junior at White Plains High School, and here's my letter. Dear Dr. King, I want to start off by saying Martin Luther King Jr. was a minister and activist who became the most visible spokesperson and leader in the civil rights movement from 1955 until his assassination in 1968. I want to praise you, Mr. King, for fighting for our nation and having the strength and ability to inspire others and let them know that our voices need to be heard, and we will no longer stay mute or be afraid. We'll be fighting till others view us as people, because we are all human, we bleed the same, and we are not afraid. And what you see in us just want to gain respect and have unity between each other. No longer needs to be looked down upon because of our race or ethnicity. Also, I'd like to congratulate you for your accomplishments, which is MLK Jr. traversed the country in his quest for freedom. His involvement in the movement began during the bus boycotts in 1955. King saw equality and human rights for African Americans and economically disadvantaged and all victims of injustice through peaceful protest. From myself.
Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate it. Next is Sean Peterson. Is Sean there? No. Susan Villamez. That's Villamar, yes. Evelyn Lopez. Evelyn Lopez. Arena Garcia. Arena Garcia.
There's a Ariana G.
I'm sorry, Ariana Garcia, yes. Is she there?
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
My letter is pretty long, so I'm going to read the end of it. Okay. Be quiet. The march in 1963, the Black folks stated their demands, and it was the time you gave your famous, beautiful speech, I Have a Dream. The speech you made had put civil rights at priority for those at the head of the U.S. And finally, you put in the Civil Rights Act in 1964. You helped put voting rights in for Blacks, and later, after all you've done for the Blacks, you were assassinated. Sadly, you were assassinated by James Earl Ray in the Lorraine Motel, April 4th, 1968. After your death, many people loved you, and that still do protest about you and said amazing things you had done to make things right and equal. Us Black folks can't thank you enough for what you have done. The fact that you were able to come from a tough childhood, go to school, get good grades, and take charge and action as an activist to stop Jim Crow laws and the racial segregation that were put into place many years ago is amazing. And because of you, many states in the U.S. do not have that law, and it is not a problem anymore. You didn't sit there and watch, as many Black folks did. You took charge. You took charge and made the world better for the place. I'm very grateful and thankful to be able to look up to someone like you, just like you did when you look up to Lord and read the Bible every night. Just let Him guide you with life and lead you, and to know that you're making good decisions. You had an amazing impact on lives there and there to come. I wish that we could say thank you to person, but writing this letter on your behalf is just as great. Thank you.
Ariana, who's that, your little sister?
Something.
Yes.
You read that letter very well.
Thank you.
And we really appreciate your patience. And I think maybe one day you're going to be a wonderful teacher.
Thank
you. You did good.
You did very well.
Christopher George. Christopher George.
Yeah, he's
Okay,
here.
he's here.
Yeah, I think, yeah, he's there.
Christopher,
We can't hear him for some reason, but he is here.
Christopher,
I think he's maybe having trouble unmuting himself.
we'll come back to him.
Yeah.
Let's go to Benjamin Alejandro. Benjamin,
Yeah, he's here.
okay.
Unmute.
Benjamin?
Go ahead, Benjamin.
Okay. Okay. So here is my letter to Dr. Martin Luther King. Dear Dr. King, I'm writing to thank you for what you have done, to thank you for bringing the world to the understanding that people should not be suppressed by society because of the color of their skin, but should be judged by their character. You stood for what you believed, even when your life was at grave risk. You pursued your beliefs to change this unfair and unjust world. I thank you for not dismaying from your path, and I thank you for tragically giving yourself up. For your death will not be in vain. What you did will not be in vain. We will continue what you started, and we one day will live the world you wanted to make. We will. It may not be now, it may not be later, but it will be one day. You, Dr. King, won the Nobel Peace Prize, led marches all over the South. You set the foundation for what we are trying to show to the world. You were among the few who started the civil rights movement. Now we seek to finish what you started. Because from what you've taught us, as long as we're together, we can do anything. We must never break apart. We must never fall to anger. We must always maintain our goals by peaceful means. If we aren't given the change we want, we will continue until our wishes are acted upon, as you have done. We the people have never forgotten what you'd laid down for us. The safety of your family, the years you gave up going to prison for us, eventually giving up your life for us. We will never forget. We will never forget the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. Although I never was directly affected by the injustice of this world, I too will do everything I can to make sure your dream becomes a reality for the world as you wished it to be.
Thank you. That was heartfelt, Benjamin. I felt that. Thank you for reading that. Sean DeBoer, is Sean DeBoer here?
I'm here.
All right, Sean.
Hi, my name is Sean DeBoer. I'm a sophomore at White Plains High School, and here's my letter. Dear Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., thank you. Thank you for walking so that we can run. Thank you for reassuring a future for us. Thank you for making us not afraid, making us feel like we can do it if we put our hearts to it. You put yourself out there so that we can walk, and you took the horrible things for us so that we can have a clear future. I learned that we shouldn't only hope for the better. We shouldn't just dream that it all gets better or pray that things will go our way. I learned that we have to make this happen. We have to put our best foot forward to have a better future. We have to fight and never stop until our dreams come true. You taught me that the world can be at peace if we all understood each other. You fought against the laws that try to put us down, lock us away, and keep us from seeing the light. Not only did you fight for us, you also fought for the poor, gender equality, and social justice that we all deserve. Once again, I thank you for allowing me to not live in fear, to not have to worry about my mother as she makes her way to work. I don't have to worry about my father who makes his way to New York City. I do not have to be scared for my little sister as she walks to school, and I don't have to fear for my brothers as they do what they do. I don't have to worry if today will be the day that I'm shot, hung, or sent to jail. I don't have to live in fear for those I love. We do still have a long way to go. After recent events involving police brutality, we cannot forget George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, as well as the insurrection of the Capitol. We have had some setbacks with some eruptions of chaos that could have been prevented. I hope that we can all remember that there can be peace amongst everyone, but that hope is slowly fading day by day. But you have also made it possible for me to be with who I want to be with, love who I want to love. I can be friends with Caucasian, Hispanic, and Asian descent and be in the same room with them at the same time. Thank you for all that you have done. You will never be forgotten. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you for reading that wonderful letter. Joshua Tahita, is Joshua here?
I'm here.
All right, Josh.
All right. I'm Josh Dada. I am a senior at White Plains High School, and this is my letter. Dear Dr. King, what would I ever do if I met you today? Well, first, I would probably freak out because when meeting with someone as much prestige as yourself, anyone would be taken aback. After that, I would ask you questions about your time being one of the leading figures of the civil rights movement. I would ask you questions such as how you handled the pressure of being the leader of a movement, or where you found the courage to stand up to a century-old system that mistreated people of color, even when thousands of people were against you. I ask these questions because I personally don't have an idea of how any man could handle all that pressure on their own. However, I can probably assume that the answer would have been you probably did feel the pressure. You are human after all. However, the difference between you and any other person has to be your determination, your willingness to make your dream of a nation that doesn't judge through skin color, but through character, a reality. And I thank you for fighting for that dream, Dr. King, as do many of us today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Josh. And Joshua is one of our MBK fellows. Thank you for that, Joshua. And now we're going to Joseph Owens. Is Joseph here?
No.
Christopher Eckham. Christopher Eckham.
No.
Did we miss anyone? Is there anyone we missed this evening?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead. What do you want to say? You have a letter?
Yes. Yes.
And this is Maria Ruterto and Helen Ruterto?
Yes.
Okay.
Dear Martin Luther King Jr., thank you for what you did to change the laws. If it was not for you, we will still have the law of the white and African Americans people. Thanks so much. I like that you followed Gandhi's thing. It is really sad that you were in prison 20 times and that you were shot. Thanks, Maria de Tuerto.
Thank you.
Thank you for what you did to change the laws. If it was not for you, we will still have the laws. If that you did, I'm sorry that you went to jail 20 times. To Martin Luther King Jr. of Bellem.
Thank you. Thank you both for reading those wonderful, wonderful letters. Again, did we miss anyone?
Did you see their artwork on the back screen?
Yeah, that's very nice.
Very nice.
Well, I want to thank all of you for listening in. I thank the kids for reading their letters. I want to thank the community for their response. You guys are awesome.
I haven't went yet.
You have a what now, Marilyn?
No.
Okay. Thank you all, and thank you so very much, everyone who participated.
Frank, Marilyn didn't read.
She wants to read, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Meryl.
Thank you, Dr. Martin Luther King, for all what you have done. Thank you, Dr. Martin Luther King, for all what you have done. You are a brave person. You make the world so much better, and you have taught me to be responsible to everyone. I love you, from Maryland.
Thank you, Marilyn. What grade are you in, Marilyn?
Third.
What school you go to?
George Washington.
All right, thank you, Marilyn. And thank everyone. Thank our staff, the school district, youth bureau staff, our grandpas, and Dr. Ricker, the mayor, everyone who joined in, who participated, who read letters. We're going to be assessing the letters, and these young people are going to get certificates and gifts. We thank you all. We're going to send these letters to the King Center in Atlanta, Georgia. And we wanted to give our young people a voice and opportunity to speak to Dr. King. We know that because they're in the period of COVID, they may not have had as much instruction and learning and reading and talking about Dr. King. So this was an effort on our part to reach our young people and to have them to share their stories and reflections. So again, we thank all of you, and we look forward to the next event that we participate in. Congratulations again, and we bid you a good night. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good job, everyone. Good job.
Good night.